Good evening, wrestling fans. We're your hosts, Lewis
and Jaden, and this is
Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Welcome back, fans, to another exciting episode of Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Today, we're actually going to stir the pot a little bit. We're going to change something around today, which you guys are going to be very excited about. Tonight, let's get into a little detail of Clash of the Champions, Jaden. Clash of the Champions was full of a few surprises. Luke Harper came back and returned and helped his former partner, Eric Rowan. These guys are back together. They're raising havoc against Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan when they beat the hell out of him in SmackDown this past week. There's a lot going on with these guys, so I won't be surprised if I see a lot of these matches going into Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Bray Wyatt attacking Seth Rollins at the end of Clash of the Champions.
Bray Wyatt is on a roll right now. Bray Wyatt is destroying anyone in his path.
So absolutely.
I personally think that is the most entertaining thing right now. Bray Wyatt attacking everybody, especially with his new character known as The Fiend.
No, absolutely. And he not only did he attack Seth Rollins at the Clash of the Champions, he challenged Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw to Hell in a Cell and attacked Kane. Kane came back to Monday Night Raw. That Kane won the 24/7 championship against R-Truth, and then Bray Wyatt just attacked him at the end.
Yep.
And when you talk about surprises, this past SmackDown, when we talked about Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, Brock Lesnar made another surprise return to the WWE, challenging Kofi Kingston to a title match at the premiere of SmackDown on Fox. What do you think about that, Jaden?
This guy needs to give up already. I'm sorry, but he's not good anymore. Bro, the old Brock Lesnar was good, but this Brock Lesnar's not good. Brock Lesnar had his chance to be champion already. He's already been WWE champion, Universal champion. Give somebody else a chance.
No, absolutely. And I think they're trying to do this David and Goliath type thing with Kofi Kingston and Brock Lesnar. So we're going to see how that pans out coming SmackDown in October. Now, when we talk about matches like this is going to be our topic. We originally had our topic for Rusev. Rusev came back. See, we just forgot about that. Alvin Cloud said Rusev came back to Clash of the Champions too. He returned back to WWE and pretty much beat the hell out of Mike Kanellis. So that's another one that we saw surprising, which he kind of has a new look, just a mustache, no beard and nothing. So we'll see. Let's see how that's going to take him going into his career. Now, in this, how you doing, John Smith? Thank you for joining us, sir. With the topic we originally had was what would have happened if Sting would have joined WWE. We're not going to touch on that just yet. We're going to get a little bit more feedback and more details on that so we can know exactly what you guys would come up with that comment. Today, we're actually going to be talking about what, Jaden?
We're going to be talking about 80s wrestling to the wrestling going on now. We're going to be talking about wrestlers that we would like to see go against wrestlers we would have liked to see go against each other, wrestlers we thought should have never gone against each other, and we're going to be comparing wrestlers to the past wrestlers and the present wrestlers. So I am looking absolutely forward to this topic.
No, absolutely. And it's not only past wrestlers, it's also what matches they had in the past compared to now, because a lot of people still talk about what had happened with, matches like an Inferno match or First Blood match. You know what I mean? And when you talk about the 80s, you talk about Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. But people still talk about the 80s to this day. Okay, what would have happened if the Big Show would have taken on Andre the Giant? Or if Stone Cold would have taken on Hulk Hogan? Or if Seth Rollins would have taken on The Rock? You know what I mean? Which I think The Rock probably would have kicked his ass. But come on, you telling me The Rock wouldn't be able to beat Seth Rollins?
Yeah, Seth Rollins would give him a fight. I'm not saying that it's definite that Seth Rollins is going to win, because don't get me wrong, The Rock is the people's champion, just like as he goes, the people's champion. But Seth Rollins has been on a roll with his career. So if those two were to ever go against each other, that would be an insane match. I'm pretty sure people would love to see that. That would be a dream match if that match was to ever happen. So, like I said before, Seth Rollins won't just get beat up automatically. He will put up a fight. He will put up a pretty good fight with The Rock.
Okay, but do you think he can do what The Rock is capable of doing? Look at that. We just got a comment right now. Daniel Bryan against Chris Benoit. Epic match. What I would have to say, I would actually give that to Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit,
I could agree.
you know, yeah, he did what he did. Grant that. It is what it is. You can't deny the man for his talent. We're not talking about
his outside life.
Exactly. We're not talking about his out
style.
Exactly. We're not talking about that. We're talking about his in-ring style, what he provided for the company, you know, and that's what counts. You know what I mean? And when it comes to certain individuals like that, you can't knock the man. And a match I would have wanted to see and still want to see Daniel Bryan against Shawn Michaels, which I think Shawn Michaels would have probably kicked his teeth in right in his mouth.
I agree.
What you thought about that?
Well, Shawn Michaels, he doesn't seem like the type of wrestler to be, you know, going around high flying, but believe it or not, Shawn Michaels will kick your eyes out of your sockets. Shawn Michaels is a very dangerous man to be within the ring. And Shawn Michaels is not a quitter. You can put him through a table. You can put him off of a ladder. He will get up no matter how much energy he has. And he will catch you off guard with that sweet chin music. Now, I'm not knocking Daniel Bryan either. Because Daniel Bryan is the type of person to not give up either. But I think Shawn Michaels overdoes him just by a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think he overdoes him
but that's what I'm saying. I think Daniel Bryan could probably be the better superstar. Yes, they call Shawn Michaels, you know, the showstopper, the main eventer, and yada yada yada, and all that stuff. But Daniel Bryan came back from a neck injury and still fulfilled his destiny. Still came back. What match do you think shouldn't have not happened?
A match that should have not happened?
That should not have happened.
Oof. I can't really decide on that at the moment. Because there was a lot of matches that probably shouldn't have happened, but they were still enjoyable. That's why I feel like the matches shouldn't be on this category. Like, okay. You might think I'm wrong for this.
Oh, wait a minute. Another one. AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels.
I want to get to this one. Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles. Both of those guys were competitors. And AJ Styles is still a wrestler. He is competitive in the ring. Shawn Michaels, also another competitive wrestler. Those guys basically have the same style of a fighting technique. You know, those guys are not too much of high flyers. Those guys are not too much of heavyweights. Those guys are just right. So most likely they will know how each other move. They will know their tactics, skills, and everything they know how to do. So I feel like I gotta stay neutral if that match was to ever happen.
No, I wouldn't stay neutral. I give it to AJ Styles. AJ Styles, yes, like I said, Shawn Michaels is a Hall of Famer. Why are you looking at me that way? AJ Styles is phenomenal. What are you talking about?
Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid.
So what?
Mr. WrestleMania.
Come on. So what? He's still
Mr.
WrestleMania. Yada yada yada. The showstopper, the main eventer, and all that stuff. Okay, that's fine. He got it. He got that title. But AJ Styles is the phenomenal one. He's been in Japan, TNA, WCW, now in WWE. You trying to tell me that these two fighting each other, Shawn Michaels could take him easy?
I'm not saying easy, but I'm saying Shawn Michaels could take him on, and Shawn Michaels will probably beat him, but hey, I could be wrong. AJ Styles could probably beat him. I don't know.
No. Okay, that's like trying to say Andre the Giant is gonna lose to Rey Mysterio.
Look at Big Show.
That's nothing. Come on, Andre the Giant is a legend.
But look at Big Show.
That
Big
don't mean
Show
anything.
is almost the same size as Andre the Giant.
Come on.
Rey Mysterio is almost my height.
Stop it. You can't compare Andre the Giant to the Big Show.
Absolutely.
You cannot.
Can.
Andre the Giant was more fierce. He knew how to take it in the ring. You know, and when he talked about Alvin just mentioned bad matches, any match with the Mean Street Posse. Absolutely. I hated the Mean Street Posse. They were terrible. They joined Shane McMahon.
He said AJ is more of a solid worker.
Exactly. Come on. Listen to the man. Listen to what he's saying. Look at that.
You guys are crazy.
Come on. Tell me something different. Give me something of a match that you would want to see AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels in.
Okay. All right. If it comes to schedule for one fall match, then I gotta put it on AJ Styles. Don't get me wrong, AJ Styles has his fair shares of, TLC matches, ladder matches, tables matches, stuff like that. But Shawn Michaels has been through it all. He's been put through a table, hit with chairs, all that stuff.
Okay.
So can you really... the bad thing about it was he was hit in the head with a sledgehammer before. That's even more painful than probably half of the stuff you see now in wrestling.
Okay.
So can you actually compare those type of matches, the TLC matches, all of the hardcore matches, to the regular schedule for one fall matches?
That's what I'm saying. But now it's all about being politically correct. That's what this industry is about now. Oh, you come out and hit somebody in the chair, it's unprotected and blah, 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 blah. Yes, fans, I understand. You got to protect your wrestlers. You got to protect the industry. I understand that. But there's times you got to go edgier. You got to go for it. You got to go for broke. Just go with it. Take it. You know what I mean? There's not too many people that will go that extra mile and say, shit, I'm going to go for it.
Have that boy watch the old school division match.
Exactly. Old school division compared to new school now, that's something you can't compare. Okay, prime example. You have Undertaker and Sting. Two totally different members from two different organizations, WCW and WWE. The moment Sting came into the WWE, why the hell did not book The Undertaker and Sting at WrestleMania? Answer me that.
It's honestly a question that I probably cannot answer. We don't know whose fault it was. We don't know if Undertaker didn't want to fight Sting or Sting didn't want to fight Undertaker, or we never know. It could have been the managers who didn't book them to fight, but I would pay to see that match. Honestly speaking. Even if I'm just a kid, if I had money, I would spend all of my money, no matter what kind of seats I had, to go see that match.
Okay.
Something.
The X Division, TNA. That's when they had, for an example, X Division included this gentleman called Shark Boy. Shark Boy is actually going to be in Atomic next month. You're actually going to see him. There was many superstars when it came to stuff like that. The TNA X Division, I wasn't too much of a fan of TNA. TNA had their stars. They had Kurt Angle, Booker T, Sting, Hulk Hogan. Okay, they had numerous stars. But when you mention a certain star, what if we had seen Rey Mysterio against the Great Muta?
Oh, whew. Listen, the Great Muta is one of the... I'm 13, and I seen the Great Muta in a match on TV, and this guy knows how to get people out of their seats. Don't get me wrong. Rey Mysterio was an underdog because he was so short, but Rey Mysterio was proving everybody wrong, and he was putting a show on for every single person in that arena. So,
see, perfect example shared by Earl Smith. AJ Styles is the best overall entertainer in wrestling today. Overall, Undertaker and Sting would have been a classic in 1999 to 2008, but now it's too late because they don't have the move to set now. They don't have it. And that's what I'm saying. When things needed to happen back then, when you see the industry compared to now, a lot of things have changed. Yeah, you want to see a dream match, you want to see stuff like that, but it's not going to happen. And then you see another dream match, Naito against Cena. That's another dream match a lot of people want to see. This is what I'm saying. You cannot go with certain stuff like that without looking at the facts. Okay, to this day, would you think they will put a First Blood match now?
First Blood match? No, this society in the WWE is now PG. Then since there's so many kids watching, but WWE needs to go a little overboard. I think they need to add at least a little bit of blood back. You don't have to go overboard with hitting chairs and heads, doing all kinds of extravagant things like that. but make the show more interesting. Bring the Attitude Era back, even if you don't bring back every single part. Bring back, Austin Stone Cold versus Hulk Hogan.
And I've been saying that for the longest, and that's where WWE screwed up. Yes, okay, don't get me wrong. Hulk Hogan and Austin, epic match. I'm sorry, Hulk Hogan and The Rock, epic match at WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan passing the torch. Stone Cold and Scott Hall, not so much. You know, it was terrible. And look at that. In Michael Larkin, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, Jerry Lynn. Great matches. Probably the Shark Boy match people talk about. You know what I mean? And it's like, and look at it. He even said, Great Muta just wrestled not too long ago. Muta in his prime was amazing. Muta against Sting was fire, which he is exactly right, because I used to watch those matches in WCW and New Japan. When they fought one time, they even became a tag team when they fought the Steiner brothers. Those two against each other had great chemistry in the ring. It was amazing seeing these two go at it. The Great Muta, his signature move that I used to love was that snap elbow. I'm going to show you a video of that when you see that snap elbow. Now, do you think Sting would have been able to take on Shawn Michaels? Come on. You shouldn't even have to think about that.
Okay, wait. Before we talk about this, what do you think? Before we get into this prediction, what do you think?
Shawn Michaels would have kicked his ass.
Dad, are you crazy?
Shawn Michaels would have kicked his ass. I'm sorry.
Crazy?
Sting, listen, don't get me wrong. Sting is an icon. He's the franchise of WCW. But Shawn Michaels built his career on taking on the likes of Undertaker, Stone Cold. Well, he never fought The Rock, but Stone Cold, Triple H. You know what I mean? He took on great competitors. He went through hell. Mankind. He went through hell with Mankind. And you telling me that he can't beat Sting?
But if you think about it, Sting is not like all of these wrestlers. Sting is a sneaky wrestler. Sting comes in, with his face paint, and Sting's not all pumped up. Sting is calm. He's making it seem like this is just going to be a regular boring match. That's what makes him so petrifying, because you never know what his next move's going to be.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that.
Like all these new wrestlers, all of these wrestlers, they're so pumped up, moving around. Once they move any single body part, you know what they're going to do. They're either going to go for a kick, they're going to go for a punch, a headbutt. Sting keeps his guard down because he doesn't want you to know what he's going to do. Just like I said earlier, that is why Sting is such a scary man to handle.
Okay.
Oh, we got another comment. Eddie Guerrero versus Benoit from WCW.
WCW was epic too. Of course. They used to fight in WCW. They also fought in ECW. These two guys, when they embraced each other at WrestleMania 20, when Chris Benoit won the title, the passion that these men went through to win the title, to get to the top, because everybody doubted them. In WCW, they were nobody. They were cruiserweights. What the hell are they going to do as a cruiserweight champion? You're not making it nowhere. You know what I mean? And Stone Cold, and they said Triple H. Of course, another epic battle. 3 stages of hell. Those two were enemies. Those two were... Look at it. Even this girl, look what he said. Sting would have killed Michaels. But for your son, show him the Liger versus Flying Bryan match. Epic match. Brian Pillman, they used to call him Flying Brian Pillman against Jushin Thunder Liger, one of the greatest light heavyweights in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And like he said, Sting would have killed Michaels.
Just like I said, Sting is not a person to play with. Sting, just like I said before, Sting is a sneaky... Okay. Let's give this for example. When has Shawn Michaels ever thought about his opponent's move? When has he ever waited for the right opportunity to get his opponent? With Shawn Michaels, it's either a counter or Shawn Michaels catches them off guard. Sting, he makes the opponent go and push him so Sting can catch them at the right time and finish them, especially with his move, the Scorpion. That thing is deadly. Okay,
he brought up a valid point. Earl Smith brought up a valid point. 80s Sting was a whole other wrestler. In the 80s, he was a painted version of Cena, only better, which I gotta agree with, because John Cena sucks. I'm sorry.
Well, now he
John
does.
Cena now sucks. Back then, they try to make him a when he was Thugonomics and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I like the Thugonomics.
Okay.
But then they try to make him, I'm this hustle, loyalty, and respect. He tried to make him a Hulk Hogan. No, my man, there's only one Hulk Hogan. You can't compare Hulk Hogan to John Cena. Hulk Hogan's the better wrestler. I'm sorry. And then look at that. Adam Cole against CM Punk. Another epic match we will want to see. Two of the greats. CM Punk still, oh my God. This man just mentioned all-time great Stan Hansen. This gentleman, Stan Hansen, was one of the most ruthless people in professional wrestling. He will come out that rope and hit you with that lariat clothesline so bad that you'll be hurting for days. So who would you think shouldn't deserve to fight each other? In your opinion?
Who should I think shouldn't deserve to fight each other?
To me, I already named one already that should have never fought at WrestleMania. Stone Cold and Scott Hall.
You know what? I'm gonna have to agree on that one. I really don't have one in mind right now, but now that you mentioned it, I actually see why you chose that match, because those guys are like nothing. Those guys never ran a rivalry that I know of. Those guys, they were just different.
It was bad.
Other.
It was just bad. Scott Hall was not a good ring general. Stone Cold was carrying him. It was a terrible match. I didn't enjoy it. It was garbage. But I would have liked to seen Hulk Hogan in his prime fight Seth Rollins, and I know Hulk Hogan would have beat the shit out of him.
There's a match that I would love.
Did you hear what I said? Seth Rollins would have got beat down by Hulk Hogan. You kidding? Hulk would have never beat Seth Rollins? You kidding me?
What is he gonna do? Do that small little leg drop that everyone
listen,
does now?
the man got power. The man got power. You kidding me?
What
Hulk
does
Hogan was a
power mean
phenom.
now?
Come
What does power
on,
mean
stop
now?
it. Stop
what
it.
does power mean
Stop it.
now?
Stop it.
Everybody is about kicking and flying uppercuts and stuff.
Stop it. Come
But
on.
besides that, there is a match in particular that I would love to see happen. I would love to see, God bless this man's soul, is Mr. Perfect and Dolph Ziggler.
No. No.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't pay to see it.
Disagree.
I wouldn't pay to see it. No, I wouldn't pay to see it.
I gotta disagree.
I wouldn't pay to see it. Dolph Ziggler is nothing compared to
yes,
Mr.
he
Perfect.
is.
No, he
Yes,
isn't.
he is. I gotta disagree with you.
How?
How?
How can you compare Dolph Ziggler to Mr. Perfect? Are you kidding me?
He's been in the business. He's been working his butt off,
you
and
crazy.
they're screwing the
Come
man
on.
over.
Mr. Perfect is perfect. Everything he
He's the
did was
most perfect
perfect.
man. Yeah, okay, we get that. He's the most perfect man in wrestling. But Dolph Ziggler has been in this industry so long, and they're screwing this man's character up.
Okay.
And I don't like it.
Okay.
I feel like they can do better with Dolph Ziggler, because Dolph
They
Ziggler has
gave him
potential.
his chance, but he screwed up.
They gave him his
He
chance.
got hurt.
He's working his butt off
Stop
now.
it. He working how would he? Okay, he's a tag team champion. Don't get me
Okay,
wrong.
not even
He's
besides the tag
he's
team
with Robert
champion.
Roode. He won the world heavyweight title. He's won numerous titles. I give the man his due. But a Mr. Perfect, he would never be. He cannot fill the shoes of Mr. Perfect. I'm sorry. That's not even compared. And now, and this is one match I would have wanted to see too. Cactus Jack against Bruiser Brody. I know you heard of Bruiser Brody before. The man was a ruthless individual. Cactus Jack, who was formerly known as Mankind, Mick Foley, crazy individual. That would have been a hell of a freaking match. And a match that, to this day, people say, oh, that right there. Mr. Perfect against Seth Rollins.
How?
And I would have gave it to Mr. Perfect. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is the architect. He's a good wrestler. But Mr. Perfect has taken on greats like Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man.
And what's the excuse?
He won.
What's the excuse?
What excuse?
Besides
What
winning,
excuse?
What is the
He was one of the
excuse?
greatest Intercontinental champions of all time.
Intercontinental champion. Intercontinental champion. What about the
Jaden,
WWE champion?
but Jaden, you can't compare this back then to now. There was one star back then.
You're absolutely
Come
insane,
on.
Dad.
There was one star, only Hulk Hogan.
Everything is Hulk Hogan.
But that's what I'm saying. Back then, there was only one star, one champion, which was Hulk Hogan. Now you have the Universal Champion. You got the WWE Champion, the Intercontinental, the United States, the Raw Tag Team, the SmackDown Tag Team. None of this existed back then. Back then, wrestling was wrestling when there was only one title, one World Heavyweight title, one Intercontinental title, and one Tag Team title. That's it. Now they want to do all this nonsense in professional wrestling. Are you kidding me? Come on. Tell me something different.
You're bonkers, Dad.
Tell me something different, son.
Tell you something different. Out of all those titles you just named, Seth Rollins won majority of them. He won the Universal title, the WWE title, the United States title, the Intercontinental title, the Raw Tag Team titles, the regular Tag Team titles, the Money in the Bank.
Okay.
This guy has been doing phenomenal since he's joined.
All right, but that's what I'm saying, Jaden. Back then there was only 3 titles.
Exactly.
And look at it, the 24/7 title belt is back.
If he even wins that,
yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. Right now, the 24/7 title is the most entertaining thing in professional wrestling right now. Why? Because it's fun.
Bray Wyatt's gimmick, I agree.
No, absolutely, it's funny. But they never had these titles back then.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, I can honestly say I enjoyed.
See, look at that. Mr. Perfect was always the #1 contender. Hulk Hogan did not like wrestling Hennig. That's the reason why Curt Hennig was never the champion, because Hulk Hogan was the #1 guy back in the 80s. Nobody had that chance. The only guys that got, the only pool that people got was Macho Man Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, Sergeant Slaughter.
Right there.
So come on.
Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior did a bad job carrying the title too. He didn't do such a good job. He did not do such a, God rest his soul. I don't talk about the dead like that. Ultimate Warrior was a phenom, Hall of Famer, but a Hulk Hogan he'll never be. A Macho Man he'll never be. I'm sorry. Tell me something different. Tell me something different. The fans are watching. Tell me something different.
Listen, for everyone who is an Ultimate Warrior fan and you're an Ultimate Warrior fan, you will understand where I'm coming from. Once you heard his music, he'll come running to the ring. He'll beat the life out of his opponent. You know, he starts grabbing on the ropes. Once he starts doing that, you know he has a fierce attitude going into the ring. It's not the Ultimate Warrior's fault. They screwed his character over. The Ultimate Warrior could have been something. He could have been a Hulk Hogan, but they chose not to do that because, the whole world had to be about Hulk Hogan.
You barely knew what the man was talking about.
Don't get me wrong. Hulk Hogan was not a bad wrestler. Hulk Hogan, I am going to be completely honest, he was the best wrestler back at the time. I'm not going to lie to you. He was the best wrestler at the time. He was basically unbeatable, and there was a few people who got the opportunity to fight him, but they sadly didn't get the victory. That's why I am choosing Ultimate Warrior, because the Ultimate Warrior was lucky enough to actually beat Hulk Hogan and get a title from one of the greatest men that was wrestling at the time.
Okay, perfect example. This gentleman, Earl Smith, said, taking all the flips and jumps and tables out of wrestling today they wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what to do.
He has a good point.
That's what I'm saying. Back then, wrestling was wrestling. They did the flips. They did this. They did that. You know what I mean? And that's what counts. When you talk about certain things like this, you have to understand. Back then, see, look at that. They named the Dingle Warrior in WCCW. He came in here. He was named the Ultimate Warrior. WWE made him a star. Unfortunately, he didn't go for it. Now, this one just caught my eye. Mr. Perfect against Chris Jericho. I would gotta say Chris Jericho for that one. That one I gotta say Chris Jericho. What are your thoughts?
Chris Jericho is a crazy person in the ring. Mr. Perfect, the most perfect man to ever be in the WWE. He did everything perfect, so I gotta stay neutral on this one. Both of those guys are absolutely competitive inside of the ring, and those guys will probably beat the life out of each other until neither one of them can stand up on their feet. So I just gotta stay neutral. Dad, you gotta be kidding me. Are you really picking Chris Jericho over the most
Of course, I'm
perfect
picking
man,
Chris Jericho.
over the
Chris
most
Jericho
perfect
has
man.
won more titles than as you just mentioned to me. Seth Rollins had won this title and that title and this and this and this and that. Same thing with Chris Jericho. He won the same amount of titles with Mr. Perfect, but Mr. Perfect is a Hall of Famer, and Mr. Perfect is perfect. So how can you pick Seth Rollins over Mr. Perfect?
Doesn't matter if
It does.
Hall of Famer or not.
It does matter because you just said that. How can I pick Chris Jericho over Mr. Perfect if you just pick Seth Rollins over Mr. Perfect?
It's not a problem, but I'm asking, why was the reason you picked Chris Jericho?
Because Chris Jericho is a technician. He's a technical wrestler in the ring.
Do you honestly think he's a technical wrestler in the ring?
See, look at that. He said yes, Mike Love. He did say that. He didn't say Seth is better than Jericho, but I don't think that's true. I don't think Seth Rollins is better than Jericho. The Perfect, yes, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Perfect.
Wait a minute, another match: Harley versus Triple H,
Harley Race versus Triple H. Harley Race back then in his prime against Triple H. I give that to Harley Race.
See, I really don't know who Harley Race is.
You know who Kenny Omega is?
I've heard of him.
Against Shawn Michaels. A match was just mentioned now from Alvin. Kenny Omega and Shawn Michaels. I would love to see that match. I would pay to see the match. There's many matches out there still that I would have not want to see, which one of them was, I don't know if you saw the Punjabi cage match. Great Khali against Batista. Most stupidest match I've ever seen. It wasn't worth it. I didn't enjoy it. That's what I'm saying. The matches compared from the 80s to now is totally different.
I would like to see Jeff Hardy in one of those matches. Jeff Hardy in a Punjabi prison match. Jeff Hardy will blow your mind. Like, no matter where he is, Jeff Hardy will blow your mind. Now, who do you think his opponent should be? Because
I would say Edge. And Edge would kick his ass.
Wow.
Edge would kick his ass.
That, I would pay to see that match. I would record it and I would watch it every single day.
Ooh, that's a good one, Alvin. That's a good one. Lex Luger in his prime and Batista. That's a hell of a match. That I would pay to see that match with those two in their prime, two powerhouses. I would have had paid to see that match. That was an excellent match.
Was pretty strong.
That's good. I definitely
was strong at his prime too. So I would honestly pay to see that match as well.
No, absolutely. I would definitely pay to see that match. That one's a good match.
That would be a great match right there.
Jaden, is there anything else you want to add before we finish this show? Do you think the 80s was better, or compared to now, the wrestling is better?
I'm 13, so I don't really know that.
Well, when you started watching wrestling with the John Cenas and the Rocks and the Stone Colds and everybody else.
Okay, I was old enough to see before WWE became, PG. I was old enough and able to understand what the Attitude Era was, because he taught me a little bit about the Attitude Era. So then once he taught me, I started catching on. So once I caught on, I started watching, and I was like, whoa, the Attitude Era is pretty good. I was old enough to see, John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics, Batista being the Animal, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. I seen all those good people fight against each other. But
ooh, that would be good. Father and son, Rocky Johnson against The Rock. I gave that to Rocky Johnson. Father will whip his ass just like I would probably whip your ass. We still got that rematch we got to do in that match. And Alvin, you requested it. We're going to give it to you. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. But someday, me and my son are going to have that rematch in our wrestling match.
I'm gonna beat him up.
Yeah, beat me up. Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna beat you up.
Look at that. Mike Jones says, I'm 27. I think 80s is amazing technically, but from 2007 to now, way better than the 90s. Only wins because of Hogan, NWO, and The Rock. Somewhat to a degree, I agree with you, but I'm a 80s to the max. And one more last one: Kerry Von Erich against Texas. Kerry Von Erich against Texas Tornado, brother against brother. Mid 80s NWO, WWF, WCCW cannot be touched. He's absolutely right. Wrestling fans, thank you for joining us. As always, we enjoy your feedback, your comments. and we feed off your comments, and we appreciate the support every time you come out and watch our show. As always, follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
I'm gonna tune in every time you guys are live. I like this. Bless y'all.
We appreciate it, Mike
Thank
Love.
you.
And trust me,
Thank
you got my word, brother. I'm gonna put you and your gang, your crew on the show. We're looking for some dates. I guarantee you, I'm a man of my word. We're gonna get you on the show. We appreciate you all watching. As always, as we mentioned, follow us on YouTube.
Dad, one more match.
Kevin Von Erich against Seth Rollins.
Another great match.
Kevin Von Erich.
I know Seth Rollins is my favorite wrestler, but I gotta agree.
Of course, it's a Von Erich. It's a Von Erich. Come on, it's a Von Erich.
It's a Von Erich.
Fans, we appreciate it. We appreciate all the support you gave us today. The next topic, we're not going to tell you, Alvin, not just yet. We're going to leave that for a surprise. This is what I'm saying. We're stirring the pot a little bit. We're kind of coming in with surprises now with this one. This one kind of caught the attention of many people. We're going to continue catching
You're going to like the topic.
We're going to continue putting the topic out there when you least expect it. But I'm glad you're tuning in. I'm glad for everybody respecting and watching our show. As always, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you have any questions, concerns, or topics that you would like to send to us, email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. From myself, Lewis, my co-host, Jaden, and my director and producer, as always, Yesenia, thank you for watching. And yes, we are definitely tuning into the draft, which we're definitely going to be talking about soon when that draft comes up. Absolutely. Have a good night, everybody. From all of us here, enjoy your night.